Initially, we have to know what is version control. So version control क्या होता है? What do we understand by the word version? So if I talk about any app, जैसे हमारा WhatsApp हो गया, Instagram हो गया, so we regularly go on Play Store and update it, right? What is the reason? The app is developed in various phases. उसके अलग-अलग versions होते हैं, right? तो उनको maintain करने के लिए, when we have to manage all those files and the multiple people who are collaborating, we require version control. And Git and GitHub are the two ways to implement version control. अभी name तो same दिख रहा है, Git और GitHub. Are they the same things? Same company ने develop किए हैं. JavaScript जैसा है. Let us see what it is. So Git and GitHub, they are doing version control, but they are built by entirely different companies. Okay. So let us try to understand Git and GitHub with the help of a simple analogy. Let us take an example of a Google Doc. जैसे मैंने मेरे लैपटॉप में Google Doc open किया and I am editing it, I am making changes to it, right? तो ये सब जो भी हो रहा है, it is happening locally on my own PC. And whatever changes I am doing, I am responsible for it, right? मेरा पूरा authority है. So that is the Google Doc. And when I want my friends to collaborate on it, कि तुम भी अपना opinion दो, you also make changes. So I add collaborators to that Google Doc या फिर मैंने Google Drive में डाल दिया wherein anyone can edit, right? So that is Git and GitHub. तो जब भी मुझे locally मेरे PC पे files manage करनी है या फिर जो code bases है वो manage करने हैं on my own PC and I'm not sharing it with anyone. So that is Git. And what is GitHub? When I make those code bases public. तो जब भी मुझे मेरा प्रोजेक्ट किसी को दिखाना है, I'll put it on GitHub. या फिर there are multiple people who post their code bases into GitHub. So to summarize, what is the difference? Git जो होता है, that does version control at locally on my own laptop. Whereas जो GitHub होता है ना, वो online GitHub repositories maintain करने के लिए use होता है. So if I want to post my project online, cloud पे, या फिर I want to take others projects, so GitHub is what I refer. Okay, so जो GitHub होता है ना, उसके अंदर when we push code bases, like जो भी हम हमारे file store करते हैं, they are repositories. So I'll just show you the GitHub. Yeah, so this is my GitHub. And यहाँ पे if I click on repositories, then I'll get all the codes which I have pushed onto GitHub. So let us see the GitHub commands. So the first command is forking. So fork का meaning क्या होता है? As I said, GitHub पे already बहुत सारे GitHub repositories posted होते हैं, right? So if I want to use someone else's project, मेरे को अच्छा लग रहा है उनका project, I want to contribute to that project, so I'll use a fork. Okay, so for example, this is Pankaj ka GitHub repository. This is GitHub Office, and when I move to repositories, this is the project which you guys have created on day 2. So ये आपने eventees बनाया था, right? So this is over here. So if you see this option fork, and if you see my repositories, there is nothing named eventees, right? So जब भी मैं fork करूँगी, so I'll have to fill some details, and yeah, I'll create fork. It will take some time. Yeah, so the fork is created. Now, if you look at my repositories, I'll refresh it. You can see this event is, right? जो मैंने पंकज के GitHub से fork किया है. Fork basically करता क्या है? जैसे किसी और का project है, it creates a copy of that project on my own GitHub. As you can see, मेरे इस पे eventees आ गया, which is forked from Pankaj. So now the next step is cloning. तो क्लोनिंग क्या होता है? अभी मेरे GitHub पे एक GitHub repository तो आ गया, right? But now when I want to work on that repository, I want to push some code, I want to add some value, तो मैं करती हूँ clone. So what it does is it creates a copy on my own local PC. And what do we use for it? Use VS Code. ठीक है, तो we'll open VS Code. And already have opened a folder. You can create one in your desktop, but I guess you already have the code, right? So there is no need to do this. Then we will go to the terminal. what we have to do is we have to do git clone. ये command रहता है, and then we will move here. तो ये मेरा GitHub है. So when I click on code, and there are 3 ways to clone it, you can see. ठीक है, तो सबसे easy would be this. Copy this URL, go to the terminal, do git clone, and paste the URL. So you can see now inside event is जो आपके कोड की चीजें थी, these are created. पहले मेरा जो कोड फाइल था that was empty, right? Okay, so that is about cloning. तो as you can see, ये remote master जो होता है, this is ये GitHub repository जो मेरे GitHub पे है, and this is local master as in मेरे खुद के PC का जो branch है वो, and when I clone it दोनों चीजों पे same आ जाता है. Okay. Then comes creating a branch. Now, what is a branch and why there is a need to create branches? तो जैसे एक बड़ा project है, it has its own features, right? Multiple features हो सकते हैं, plus multiple लोग काम कर सकते हैं at the same time. So what these people do is they create different branches and they work simultaneously on it. So that is creating a branch. तो ये command है git checkout/b and you can give the name of the branch whatever you want. And it is given by the feature name. जैसे हम अगर chatbot ऐड करें तो we will say chatbot. Okay. तो जैसे ये हमारा local master है and इसमें मैंने एक create branch का command कर दिया. Now you can see a branch is created and you can work on that branch. Then comes staging and committing changes. तो स्टेज करने का मीनिंग क्या है चेंजेस को? Let us say I am working on my branch or whatever repository it is and I make a few changes, right? तो उन changes को secure करने के लिए I stage them. Okay, so this can be done through 2 ways. You can use this function, this command, which is get add a dot. तो ये सारी changes को stage कर देगा. Or you can, what you can do is you can use the source control. यहाँ पे जो VS Code का है, you can click here. Abhi we have not initialized anything. Okay, so you can see like when we will make changes, you will be able to see there. So आप यहाँ से भी stage कर सकते हो. Then comes committing changes. So you finally like you accept those changes, right? So you add a message and then you commit. And here you can also use the GitHub Copilot if you have added it in your VS Code to generate messages. So again, 2 ways to do it. आप terminal से भी कर सकते हैं using this command or you can use the VS Code का UI. So if you are not, the FEs who are there, if you are not able to understand from stage 4, don't worry. When we will create the chatbot, you will get to know the better implementation. Yeah, I'll just show the branch creation. So when I go into event is, I can create a branch which is git checkout /b, and since we are adding chatbot, let us name our branch as chatbot. So here you can see एक नया branch बन गया है. If I do git branch, तो यहाँ पे main branch भी है मेरा and chatbot branch भी है, and this is what I'm working on. And about staging changes, we will see in the chatbot creation part. Okay. Then comes pulling, merging, and pushing and creating a PR. तो pulling क्या होता है? Let us say जो मेरा यहाँ पे जो repository है, there are multiple friends who are working on this repository as well. तो मैं मेरी chatbot के function पे काम कर रही हूँ, but on my GitHub repository बहुत सारे friends भी collaborate कर रहे हैं, right? So I should have that code on my local laptop, right? So what I'll do is I'll do git checkout main. तो इससे क्या होता है, मेरा जो branch है वो main पे shift हो जाता है. And then I can pull all the changes. तो इससे क्या होगा, जो भी changes मेरे friends ने किए हैं, all that will be reflected on my local PC. Then comes merging. So जो भी मेरा branch है and the main branch on which the code is getting pushed, उन दोनों को merge करना. So we can do these two, we can execute. Then the last step will be pushing and creating a PR. तो आप जब भी कोड पुश करते हो, that is reflected on your own GitHub, right? But अगर आपको बताना है, let us say Pankaj is our the main one जिसे हमने fork किया है. If you want to tell him कि you have made some changes, you create a PR. Okay, that is a pull request. So that also we will show once we start creating chatbot. So जब भी आप बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम करोगे एंड यू विल बी हैविंग मल्टीपल ब्रांचेस एंड बहुत सारे लोग कोलैबोरेट करेंगे. So this is what the graph will look like. So abhi, if you see, it is a straight line, right? Because only one branch is created, nothing is committed. But when multiple people collaborate, this is what you will see. So जो purple colored की line है, that is the main branch. And these are the small branches which are created and they are merged, etc. So let us understand what is the need of version control. Like अगर एक reason मिल जाता है ये चीज पढ़ने के लिए, तो we do it more carefully, right? So the first thing will of course be pertaining to the industrial standards. जैसे अगर इंडस्ट्रीज कंपनीज की बात करें तो वो जब भी प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं they use GitHub, right? So you should know how to do version control using GitHub. Not only this, but as students, when we will participate in any hackathon, we should know how GitHub is used. The second thing is of course easy rollbacks. जैसे अगर कोई एरर हो गया, लाइक कोड अच्छे से चल रहा था बट बिकॉज ऑफ वन फ्रेंड सम एरर केम एंड यू आर नॉट एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई द रीजन ऑफ दिस एरर, you can easily go to the previous safe state by with the help of version control. The third thing is आपका जो डेटा है it is stored somewhere, right? GitHub पे आपका डेटा क्लाउड पे स्टोर हो रहा है, आपका स्टोरेज यूज नहीं हो रहा. And in case if something happens to your laptop, there is some data loss, still you can take the code from there. And the most important thing from a student's perspective is ये जो चीजें है version control, they are very important when you will do open source programming. तो तभी अभी अक्टूबर में we will have Hacktober Fest, right? And also GSOC will be there next year. तो and अभी भी चल रहा है, तो you can study this version control, which will add a lot of value to your experience of open sourcing. So yeah, before moving towards the chatbot creation, is there any kind of doubt about version control? Anything you guys can raise hand and ask if anything is there. Okay, so I'll move to the next part, which is chatbot creation. तो हम लोग दो तरह के चैटबॉट बनाने वाले हैं. द फर्स्ट वुड बी फ्रंट एंड में. ओके, सो दिस विल बी एन इफ एल्स लॉजिक. इसमें हम कोई LLM, कोई API की यूज नहीं करेंगे. And the second type of chatbot which we are building will be having one backend file. Okay. So in that we will be using an LLM. This is the LLM which we are using, and we will try to make something like this. Okay. So let us start with the front end wala chatbot. So now since this is done, what I'll do is I'll start with I'll start the project. So I've installed the libraries which are required. It is done. So now we will start the project with npm run dev. We'll open it here. So ये जो था, this was the project which you guys built with Pankaj on day 2. Now what we will do here is we will try to add a chatbot with the basic if-else logic. So first let us start use GitHub Copilot, and हमें app में चाहिए, right? So what we will do is app.js में we will tell it. यहाँ पे we'll tell it to first give us a component in the front end. Okay, जो chatbot दिखाएगा, not exactly a component but a floating icon. So yeah, and also if you guys are not able to cope up or prompting नहीं हो रहा है, तो you can use this sheet, and इस sheet में all the changes which are made to the existing file, जैसे chatbot add कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद app डॉट जी एस में जो भी चेंजेस कर रहे हैं that is reflected here in this file. So you guys can refer to that as well. So yeah, add a floating component for a chatbot in app.js. Okay, so it is adding a component, right? So what we will do is just add a floating icon app.js. Yeah, so here it will add it in the app itself. So we will just apply to the editor and accept the changes. And if we go here, yeah, so here we have an icon, but अभी इसको click करेंगे तो कुछ होगा नहीं. We haven't added any utility yet, right? So what we will do is in the pages, or let us say components में करते हैं. Components में if I add a chatbot, we'll add a file named chatbot, a folder, and उसके अंदर we will try to make the chatbot. So here I'll prepare a file which is chatbot.jsx and I'll open it. So let's close कर देते हैं. Yeah. So now we'll ask it add a chatbot logic for this chatbot. We'll tell about events. Also, we will ask it to refer to routes for the links in app.js. तो इससे it will give the chatbot का code. Yes, it is ready. Okay, and if I see app.jsx, यहाँ पे import भी करना है, right? So let us see if anything happens here. So not yet. We'll add it in the app.js. Okay. If we go here, yeah, you can see इसको बंद करेंगे, and when we will open it, we will get yeah, we'll get this chatbot. तो यहाँ पे we can ask what is the use of event is. ये आपको event is के बारे में बताएगा. And what is the utility? Okay, it still gives the same thing. तो हमें थोड़ा prompt करना पड़ेगा. So when asked about utility, जो हमारी links है, जैसे event is क्या क्या कर पा रहा है, it is able to add events, view events, right? तो information about that we try to give here. Add all things event is can do, like add event, view events, etc. Also provide links. तो ये हमें यहाँ पे चेंज करना पड़ेगा. Okay, we'll apply to the editor. Now let us see. Refresh it. What is the use of event tools? Okay, again the same thing. Links. Okay, we'll have to prompt it more and take links from here. So to save time, we have done that over here. So what you can do is you can copy the code from chatbot.jsx. So when I was trying this chatbot, I prompted a lot of things, and after which it gave me something which I'll show you guys now. Okay. So this and the edited app.jsx. Hmm. So what are the errors we will see? Yeah, it was in the pages, so we'll move it to the pages. So pages के अंदर we'll add chatbot का folder, and inside that we will give this JSX file. Yeah, and I'll just delete this which was created. Now if you see, yeah, so you can create it anywhere. Import bus different hoga, but I have added it in the pages folder. And now let us see after refreshing what happens. I'll refresh it. Okay, so here if you click, it will open something like this, and you can ask, what is the use of event is? So yeah, now it has managed to give us the links. So just say it has listed the features, right? So if I want to go to home, I can click here. If I want to go to events, what the current events are, I can go here. So this is what the bot looks like. And if you want to change the UI, you can also change the UI and add anything like experiment, whatever you want with it. So now the part of the GitHub, which I told you guys will cover. So yeah, staging changes. Now, if you will see, open the source control panel, happy you will be able to see the files which are changed, right? So either you can like just do this and stage the changes, or you can use the terminal to do that. So if I open the terminal and move to event ease, I'll do get add dot. So say if you will see the changes will get staged now. Okay. Again, if you want to commit those changes, which was the fifth step, you can type the message and commit. You can also use GitHub Copilot for doing that, the generation of the message, and then you can commit. Or we can also use the command, the terminal command, which is git commit. So this can be done. So what we will do is we will use the terminal. So we write git commit /m, which is the message, and what a feature we have added. So we added the chatbot, right? So we say added chatbot and done. So if you see now the changes are committed. ठीक है, but ये जो changes commit हुए हैं, these are done locally. If you see on your GitHub, तो यहाँ पे nowhere the changes can be seen even if I refresh. So src, yeah, there is no commit which is made, right? So now comes the next step, which is pushing and creating a PR. Now, these two steps are required when multiple people are collaborating. Also, creating a branch is required when बहुत सारे लोग रहते हैं. But since we are only one person who is uploading the code, what we will do is we will push it. So we will do git push origin and whatever you want to write the message, you can write or like the branch name. So we'll go here, and our branch was chatbot, right, which we were working. So it is, let us check the branch once, get branch. Yeah, so we will do git push origin and the branch is chatbot. So now we have added it. So अगर हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे, so now it is visible. The repositories. Yeah, and if you see now, a pull request you can make, right? So यहाँ पर हमने हमारे local GitHub पे चीजें commit कर दी है with the help of the command, right? So now what we can do is we can create a pull request. मतलब अभी हमने हमारे local पे changes कर दिए. After that we have also pushed the changes on our own GitHub. अभी if you want to inform the owner of this जहाँ से आपने fork किया है, so what you do is you create a pull request. So this is the description you can add, any title you can add, and you can click on create pull request. तो इससे क्या होगा, जो owner है इस repo का, the person will know that you have added something contributed to the project. You can click on create pull request. And yeah, so a pull request is created. So this is owner ka GitHub. So here, if you move to repositories, here you will find a pull request has been created by you. So जो owner होगा, the owner, if he reviews the code and if he likes your pull request, the changes you have made, the owner will accept it. Okay, so this is done. Now we will move towards the second part, which is chatbot creation. Okay, so any doubt till now? Anything? Okay, so to the next part. So अभी हम लोग जो chatbot बनाने वाले हैं, that is going to be based on the backend. So it will have a backend file because we are going to use an LLM. ठीक है, LLM क्या होता है? It is a large language model, and we will be using a pre-trained model, which is this. ठीक है, and this will be done with the help of Grok. So I'll just close this and open Grok Cloud. So Grok Cloud is this platform जहाँ से हम लोग API की उठाने वाले हैं. Now, what is an API key? No, API key, we can understand it like a password. So it is application programming interface, and the key is used for interacting with various different services. जैसे अगर हमें चैट जीपीटी के जो सर्विसेज है वो यूज करने हैं, सो वी यूज ओपन एआई का API key, but now it is paid, so we will try to explore free tier as much as we can. So, what is API key? API key is like a password through which you can access multiple services which are provided to us. Okay. So here we are using a Grok Cloud. So if you see, you can sign in on Grok Cloud and you can explore this. Now, the aim of this workshop is not just you guys able to understand the utility, but so that you can understand different AI tools in the free tier, जो आप use कर सकते हो in your further projects. You can exploit them. So you can have a look at the various models. For reasoning, if you want, you can choose any model from here. For function calling, speech to text, and this entirely free. Okay, so ये जो भी models है, they are already hoisted on the Grok Cloud platform, and you have to just do API calls to use them. And a quick tip, instead of using this for text to speech because it requires some permissions and all, you can use Google text to speech. Or if you are working in Python, you can use Python ka library for doing text to speech. So the model which we are going to use today for chatbot creation is this Llama 4. And this is the only model, if you will see, जो कि vision के साथ काम करता है, which extracts things from images, जो images को समझता है, right? So we'll open this quickly. And this is the playground. Here we can explore with the models. We can do different things with the models. And before going towards the playground, another important thing which we have to do is we have to, after signing in, click on API keys. And we have to create one API key. I've already created a few API keys here. So I'll create another one by pressing create API key. And let us say we'll just give this a project name, backend chatbot with image. Okay, and submit. and an API key will be generated here. If you see, you have to copy it because it will not be displayed again. And after copying it, you can paste it somewhere, like you can store it so that you can use it. So yeah, so the major part of API key generation is done. Now we can explore the bot. ठीक है. So now what I was planning to do is कि जो हमारा event is है, here if you see the add event का option, here you have to enter the details manually, right? जो भी आपका event का title है, description है, and all the things. So what if we add some utility जिसके through the user only has to choose the file, any image, anything, and automatically the details will be filled. Okay, so let us try to test this first here. So yeah, I've already filled it. The system, your work is to read the event name, date, time, and venue of the event and return the answer. But a better query, what a better query would be, if you look at the Eventees platform, you have to enter everything, title, description, date, and everything, right? So instead of just giving it a wala prompt, what we can do is we will give it a prompt in JSON format. So I've already made one. So इसको मैं copy करके I'll paste it here. Okay, so if you see here, I have asked it to extract everything from an image and then give the output in a JSON format. So JSON format हमारे key value pairs होते हैं. Okay, I'll show the JSON format. So उसके through it will be very easy for us to fetch that data, right? So मैंने system instructions डाल दिए. System instructions are basically आपका bot, what do you want your bot or what do you want your LLM to do? Those are system instructions. So if I choose to put an image, so yeah, I have downloaded one random poster. And when I click on submit, it will give me the JSON format. If you look at the image, यहाँ पे title is tropical purple party and category है, date है, location है and everything, right? So that means हमारा LLM जो हमें utility चाहिए, it is working like that. Okay, so another thing what we can do is यहाँ पे जैसे Python का code है, instead of that we are working in JavaScript, right? तो हम लोग language को change करेंगे and we will copy this. So from Grok, what all we have required and what all we have done, first जो हमें API की चाहिए था, we have taken that API key and we have copied it safely, we have stored it. The next thing is हमारा model. So this is the model which we are going to use. We have to copy that as well. तो ये model हम लोग use करने वाले हैं. Then we have fed it the system instructions. जो भी हमें चाहिए इस llama model ने करने के लिए, that we have fed in the system instructions. And we have changed the language to JavaScript because we are working on JavaScript and we'll copy the code from here. Also, if you guys want here, temperature, ये एक jargon होता है AI के terms में, मतलब जितना आप temperature बढ़ाओगे, कम करोगे, model का creativity change होगा. Like if you keep the temperature 1, the model will be very creative with what it does. अगर थोड़ा information आपने नहीं feed किया, it will be intelligent enough to like find that information. Okay. And if you do it 0, then it will be very less creative. So that is about it. तो यहाँ से हमने API की लिया, model का name लिया, and we have taken the code from here. Okay. So now what we will do is we'll open the cheat sheet for a reference. This is the backend chatbot. And what we will do is we will create one folder inside Eventees and let us name it chatbot backend. Okay. So now this is the folder which we have created and यहाँ पे हम लोग backend का logic देंगे. Okay. Now why it is important to give a backend? Backend होता क्या है? So from here basically whenever you do anything in the front end, जैसे यहाँ पे मैंने कुछ भी किया, तो the changes need to be passed to the LLM, right? जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे file upload की, so the LLM should know that I have uploaded the file, right? Hence we create or set up a backend. तो अभी से हम लोग सेटअप कैसे करेंगे? The first step which we have to do is we have to initialize the server, right? जो हमारा backend है. So after doing these things, what we will do is we will do npm init. Why? तो इससे क्या होगा, इससे हमारा लाइक इनिशिएट होगा बैकएंड. सो इफ आई गो टू chatbot backend and I'll do npm init dash y, तो इससे we will see there is no file created right now. तो अभी यहाँ पे पैकेज जेसन का फाइल बन जाएगा. इफ यू सी package.json, the file is created, right? इसके बाद what we have to do is we have to create अपना chatbot का logic. So I'll do server.js. Here I'll create the file. Okay. And we have a few requirements which we have to install. तो ये जो requirements है, we will install them. You can refer to the cheat sheet if you want, but you can try prompting by your own and learning with AI. So we'll install them. So it will take some time. Till then, Express हमारा framework है on which we are building our backend. Then Multer is also a library, we can say, which handles the images very easily. तो अभी हम लोग image input देने वाले हैं eventees को, right? Hence Multer is important, and Grok SDK is because we are using Grok का API key. राइट. एंड देन वी हैव कॉर्स हम लोग क्यों यूज करते हैं, ताकि जो हमारा फ्रंट एंड एंड बैक एंड है उनके बीच में कनेक्शन हो पाए. So we will add this code. If you guys want, you can prompt it on GitHub Copilot. We will try doing that, but it results in different errors and everything. So we have to fix that. So what we can do is we can copy the code of server.js, right? Then we have to run the backend, and the last step would be updating the code in the front end. Okay, so we'll try prompting it. And the most important thing is this code you can use as it is, but what you have to do here is you have to add your own API key in the server.js file. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so we'll provide it with event ease, which is here. If I go to pages and if I click on add event, तो यहाँ पे हमारा add event का सारा logic है, right? And whatever we have to make changes, हमें add event में ही changes करने हैं. So we can start by prompting it कि I want to add a chatbot. We can give the code of the chatbot. So this is the model, and this is the code which we have got through the Grok. So I have to add this so that the user can input an image in the front end, and this model will extract data in the specified JSON format and then autofill in the front end. So we can say give code for server.js, which is our backend logic, and changes in add event.jsx, जो भी. So if anyone is having any doubt, and जो भी especially first year की students है, you can try learning with prompting, or you can also refer to this cheat sheet for copy pasting the code. So yeah, we add it to the server.js here, and we'll keep the changes. And here in the add event.jsx, we can do this. So while it is changing the code, we will change the API key here. So जो मेरा API key है, I'll add it, which is this. So this is done. And yeah, I'll keep this code, and we know that there are going to be errors which are going to be generated. So let us try to resolve them. Okay, so we need Axios. We'll create a new terminal and we'll also do install Axios. We'll do npm I Axios. So Axios also help in the front end back end communication. So I think this error is solved. We'll just restart our front end. Okay, no error now. And we'll start the backend as well. Server.js. Okay, our backend has also started. Okay, so we'll try doing that. Yeah, so here if you see, extract event details from image. So let us try this functionality first. If I add the same poster which I added there, if I click on extract event details from image, okay, could not parse model. So there is a possibility जो हमने date का format दिया है, that is invalid. So what we will do is we'll go here and we'll click on inspect, Control Shift I. So if you see the bad request, so we can just copy the code and we can paste on GitHub Copilot and we'll see what the error is. Okay. So yeah, the front end is running, back end is good. So we'll try this. And also one more thing which I wanted to introduce is this Postman. So what is Postman? तो Postman एक software है with the help of which we can test कि हमारा जो code है which is running. So I'll not cover this right now, but this is a good tool which can be explored and to test the backend as well as any Python file if you are trying to build. Okay, so you refresh it. Yeah, so the post error. So now what we can do is we can use Postman to test what is happening. So what we can do is we can go on GitHub and we can say give Postman test for this chatbot LLM. So you can follow these steps. Yeah, so this is the method which we have to do, which is post. And this is the URL which we have to do it. Okay. So if I go here, I'll select the method as post because we are sending it to the backend, right? And here we can paste the URL, जो भी हमारा URL जिस पे हमारा bot work कर रहा है वो. Then we have to change it to body and यहाँ पे हमें key add करनी है which is image because we are sending an image and file it is, the type of image is file, and we can add poster here. So if I click on send, okay, so what we can try is we can try debugging and yeah. So to save time, what we can do is the pre-generated code which we tried before. तो हम लोग इसको copy paste करने का try करेंगे and then we'll try to solve the errors. Yeah. So this is the server.js. And here you have to replace your API key, which is, yeah, this is the API key. And about the add event, you can go here. And if you see the highlighted text, अगर आप इसको remove कर दोगे, then this is your previous add event का file. So if you look at the highlighted sections, those are the sections which have been added. Okay, so as we can see, we have installed Axios, right? And we have created a function. So all these changes are made in the existing add event file. So we'll try to copy that here. Changes are made. We'll restart the server. Okay. And yeah, this error is occurring because we have not added the type module in the package.json. तो इसको हम लोग change करते हैं. But before that, let us try to run the front end as well. So run dev, go to the file. The add event, if you see, okay. And this is like UI, इसको इसमें UI better कर दिया है. Before the option was here, okay. And yeah, if you paste the error which you are getting in the VS Code, it will, in the GitHub Copilot, it will give us the type module to resolve the error. And we restart the server, which is the backend server. Now let us try refreshing it. So if you see now, जो हमारा file जो हमने choose किया था, and the data which it gave as the JSON file, वो यहाँ पे autofill हो रहा है. So kind of automation is what we have added here to reduce the manual work. Also, we can try adding different posters and exploring this field. Okay, so that was about the chatbot creation. You can also try using Postman for doing that. Now, moving towards the next part, which is the different free tools which we have, which we can explore. So one of them and one of the most important tool right now in the free tier would be the Grok API keys. So you guys can explore these models. The next part would be the Google API key. So if you guys visit this and sign in here, so जो Google होता है, it also provides its own models. So if you click on this tab, you will be exposed to n number of models. Gemini के बहुत सारे models है, but before, like a few months before, ये जो Gemini models थे, इनके API keys were free. But now only these models are used. So if, for example, you want to do summarizing about image and text content, you can use this model. Let us say you want a text translation, so you can use a different model. So these are the 4 to 5 different free tier AI models which can be used. And also we can refer to Hugging Face. Hugging Face, you can sign in there. And here, if you see, if you click on models, so यहाँ पर भी we have different models. So yeah, if I go to models, so यहाँ पे we have different models which are free to use. So आप कोई भी model choose करके you can try to embed them. So I would request you guys to explore the Grok Cloud, the different models, the Google AI Studio, as well as Hugging Face Studio for new and different models. Now, moving towards the last part from my side is maintenance. तो अभी हमने कोड तो रेडी कर दिया है, राइट? ऑल्सो व्हाट डू वी डू when we do DSA? हम लोग कोड लिख देते हैं and after that we try optimizing that code. So that is maintenance using AI. तो इसमें हम लोग क्या करते हैं, we do code refactoring. मतलब कि जो existing code है, we try to optimize that code, we try to reduce the number of lines, and we try to document it, format it अच्छे से. That is maintenance using AI. So one of the examples which we have seen right now is using GitHub Copilot for generating commit messages. Right. So you can use GitHub Copilot for doing various things. You can select a part of code and try GitHub, ask it to review the code. It will suggest us different ways. Right. Also, AI can be used to simplify our code. Then we can use it for good nomenclature. जैसे कि if I have something very complex, so we can use AI to simplify it. वो हमें help कर सकता है for suggesting various ways to make the code readable. Also, if we talk about functions, तो हम लोग जो भी functions use करते हैं, when we built it, वो कभी कभी complex हो जाता है, बहुत सारी चीजें एक ही function के अंदर आ जाती है. So what we can do, we can use AI to divide them into small fragments. It will be easy for us to understand. Yeah, so that is from my side. Now we will move towards the research, which will be taken forward by Anshul Gupta. So yeah. So we'll resume the research section within 2 minutes.
Hello, we'll be beginning with the research part in around 2 to 5 minutes. But before that, is anybody having any query with the past sessions or the one that Veda took? You can just put it in the chat box or can open your mic and ask.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anchal Gupta. I'm PR manager here at CodeCell, and I'm going to be talking about research and how you can use AI tools to simplify and shorten your research process. Am I audible? Can people give a thumbs up? Thank you. Okay, so okay. So often, when I was younger and I was studying about resonance in physics, our teacher told us that we still don't know why resonance occurs. We know that it occurs, we know how it occurs, but we don't know why it occurs. So it really got to me that question, and then I started looking at different mathematical formulas and I started trying to find out why does resonance occur. Obviously, I did not find out how resonance occurs, but I did I was doing something and it made me feel like, oh, I'm doing something like a scientist, how scientists do research. So that is essentially what research is. You question yourself, you question the things around you try to optimize the things around you, and you basically use a scientific procedure, defined procedure, to find answers to your question. So that is essentially what research entails. Now, why do we need research in the software industry? So, as you all know, that there are big companies like Amazon, Alphabet is the parent company that owns Google. So they essentially spend the maximum amount of money into research. And that is because the more you spend on research, the better products you can develop and the more revenue you can generate. It's not only about revenue, but it's also about building good products which are efficient and optimized. So that is why we require research in the software domain. All right. So now I'm going to be talking about different sites where you can find research papers. So a lot of you might not be aware of this, but our college itself gives us access to research papers. There is a website called MyLoft. You can also install the application on your mobile phone, and you can enter your institute as WES, and then you have to go to the library, and they will give you the access. And once you get the access, you can explore a lot of different papers. You can even download them. So, a lot of times, what happens is the papers are available on Google or some other site, but you will not have full access to them. But with this, since you are verified through an institution, you get access to a lot of different academic resources. So, this is something that I would recommend that everybody goes to the library and gets their access because it's very, very helpful. So that is one thing. The other thing which is really useful is semantic scholar. So I'll just show you how you can utilize this. So what you're supposed to do is enter a keyword based on whatever research paper you want to search. Okay. So let us say currently we were doing things with chatbot. So if I enter chatbot and search, so it will give me different research papers which are related to chatbots, right? And I can optimize my search by adding more keywords to get what exactly I want. I can even search for author names. There are different identifiers like DOIs for different research papers. So you can put in that and you will get the exact paper you are looking for. So let us look at this paper, and I'll just show you the structure of what a research paper looks like. Correct. So initially you have the abstract, then you will have introduction. After that, there will be methodology, and followed by that, at the end there is conclusion and then citations. Okay, so that is about how you can find research papers. So you can go to MyLoft, you can search on Semantic Scholar, right? So now I'm going to be talking about now this is the tedious process. This is when you start from scratch. You look for research papers, then you will read them, you'll go through them, and you will optimize it according to your need. So if you want to build chatbots, you'll look at, okay, what are the new trends, which is the best model I can use. But certain times when you are in hackathons, where you have a time clutch and you don't have enough time to actually go through that entire reading process, that is when there are certain sites that will do that entire process for you. So the best one that is available right now is Perplexity. So Perplexity has this deep research feature. So this is the normal search feature, which is similar to what you do on Google or ChatGPT. But then you have this deep research feature. So what it does is it will go through the different websites, YouTube, GitHub. It will go through research papers and it will go through web searches, multiple web searches to come up with the best solution. And it will be very similar to how a human will do that research. So that research is going to take you around 3-4 hours normally if you would do it. But if you do it using Perplexity, in a few minutes you get that same result. So over here, I'm just going to ask it that I am trying to build. Okay. So if you have played chess and if you have explored chess engines, essentially you have to choose a certain difficulty level before you start playing. Okay. But it is very difficult to know what is your ELO rating if you do not have a lot of experience playing. So if a beginner wants to play chess and they are suddenly presented with these, jargons, so they are going to have some difficulty. So what I thought of is, what if we just start a game and then based on how the player is playing, you optimize the difficulty of the player. Okay. So I'm just going to put this prompt. So you can see the entire research process as it happens. So you will see that it will look for the best engines, strongest chess engines, and it took Stockfish. Now it is going through these different websites, after which it is doing another web search. So this is essentially how a human being would do research, and Perplexity just does everything for you and presents you with a very nice report in the end. It is even going through GitHub repositories. It is going through YouTube, Hugging Face. So this is what normally you would do while doing research. Go through different websites, look at tutorials. Now it is looking at research papers. All right. So I think within like 2 minutes, it has given us a nice comprehensive report as to how you can start and what are the different engines that you can use for this use case. And if I were to just manually sit and do this, it would take me a few hours or maybe even my entire day, right? So you can see how effective it is. And it is also giving you, like I asked it for the report, and it is giving me that entire methodology, process, approach, everything. Okay. So, yeah, that is all about Perplexity. So, whenever you are in hackathons and you have to do research really fast, I would recommend Perplexity. It's a really good resource. Now, we'll be looking at illicit.org, which does a similar thing. Okay. So, over here, oh, I also wanted to talk about this feature. So you also get to look at the different sources that it explored. So let us say that you want to look at the entire tutorial, so you can go over here, or you want to read a certain uh, article, so you can just look at that. So that is really an interesting feature. You also get to see how the bot actually works, right? So over here on elicit, what you can do is you can find papers and you can also generate a research report. So very similar to what we were doing on semantic scholar, which was finding papers, and research report is similar to what you did on perplexity, which is you given a prompt and then you ask it to generate something for you. But this is obviously more structured, like the structure that I was explaining. You have your introduction, abstract, methodology, conclusion, all of those things. So let us just look at finding papers, and I'll just use the same example, chess engine. Okay, so it will just give you the paper and its summary, and then you can just look at which one is the most, like GoFish. This is an open source chess engine, and Stockfish is not open source. GoFish is open source. So it will just give you the different things about whatever you are looking, and then you can explore that paper just like we did in Semantic Scholar. Okay. So now I will be talking about certain tools like plugins which you can use to make your process of finding research papers easier, right? So if we go to Semantic Scholar and I will search for chatbots, okay. Now, if I look at this paper, you can see this little thing over here that says chat with paper. So this is basically because of the plugin that we have by SciSpace. So if you use SciSpace Copilot, you will be able to basically understand exactly what is going on in a certain paper. So if I explore this paper over here, now normally reading this entire thing can seem like a very daunting task, right? Also, there's going to be different keywords that you may not be able to understand, jargons that you might not be able to understand. So if I just launch SciSpace over here, it will help me to understand things easily. So what I can do is I can just highlight a certain part that I'm having difficulty in understanding, and then I can click on ask. So there are different things that it can do. It will summarize it for you, it can explain it, it can paraphrase it, or it can find related papers. So let us say I asked it to summarize. So over here, as you can see, it is giving me the summary about whatever part I highlighted. So certain times what happens is you get certain mathematical formulas which are very difficult to understand. Over here, if I see, so let us say there aren't any formulas over here, but certain times you do get mathematical equations which can be difficult to understand. So obviously you can just highlight those equations and then you can ask SciSpace to explain them to you, right? And apart from that, you can also use it for conducting literature reviews. So you can just enter the topic and it will help you generate a literature review. What does that mean? So literature reviews are basically you try to find out the existing research that has been done on that topic, and then you basically whatever is lacking, you try to work on that according to whatever your topic is. Okay. So this was all about SciSpace, and I think it's really helpful because rereading the entire paper can seem like a very daunting task for a beginner. Okay, so the next thing is Zotero. So Zotero is essentially for storing your different papers and organizing them efficiently uh, on your PC. So once you have to install Zotero, along with that you have a connector. So you just click on this connector, and what it does is it will save the paper immediately to your PC. So it will do that immediately, and you don't have to like copy the links and save it. Essentially, it also has a manual add-in feature. It also has certain features wherein you can do erase duplicates. So whenever you are looking for papers, there can be multiple papers, so you have to erase the duplicate ones. So Zotero does that for you. All right. So this was all about the tools that we have for research. So certain tools, they help you do end-to-end research. Certain tools will help you find research papers, and certain tools will help you to understand research papers and store research papers. Okay. So now I thought that since we were talking about LLMs, chatbots, and AI tools, so we will just explore a certain concept, and then we will summarize a few research papers based on that. So I wanted to discuss fine tuning LLMs. Okay. So currently you developed a chatbot with Veda, and the chatbot was helping you fill out forms, right? Now, what if I want a customer service chatbot that is trained on my own data? Okay, so LLMs on their own, what do they essentially do? So over here, you can see there is a snippet of a story, right? So the work job of a transformer like GPT-3 or GPT-4 is to find out the next word which is most suitable in this situation. Okay, so over here you can see it has generated that these words, and amongst that, it is choosing also to be the next word. So this is what an LLM does. It will find out the next most suitable word in that sequence, and along with that, it will keep on generating your output, right? So on their own, LLMs are not very useful for a company, because this is just generating creative content, right? If you want it to be useful to you or to be of any revenue value, then you would want it to be trained on your own data, so that you can have custom inputs and you can have customer service chatbots or other features like that. So in those cases, we use fine tuning. Okay. So let us just look at a simple, I'll just take an overview of how this works. If you want to watch the detailed video, I have referenced three blue, one brown. So you can go on YouTube and watch the entire video. It's very informative and talks about basically the entire process of how a transformer works from, and once you send a prompt, what exactly happens and how you get an output. Okay, so models like ChatGPT or Llama model that you just used, so they have billions of parameters, and these parameters basically are tunable parameters. So as they are trained, they will tune themselves to understand the meanings of different words. And basically, the words are converted into vector embeddings. So these embeddings are then they go through a lot of processes, like there is a multi perceptron layer, there is attention applied, which is basically a word in a sentence will have some context to its meaning. So the words around that are used to understand that context. So all of these processes happen. It's a very long process, and then eventually you get this list wherein you have to choose a specific word which goes in the end, right? So as I said, you have tunable parameters. So that is how an LLM works. Now, what happens in fine tuning is you have a pre trained LLM like ChatGPT or Llama, and then you will train it on your knowledge base. So you train certain parameters, or you can train all parameters. But obviously, for training all parameters, you would require that kind of a hardware. So you can train certain parameters, and then you can get a specific uh, output that will be knowing your knowledge base. So you can ask it questions like, what events are there on Saturday? Right? If you just ask ChatGPT what events are there on Saturday, it will not be able to answer. But once you have trained it on your data, then it will be able to answer, okay, on Saturday we have these events, or what are the upcoming events in music. So it will be able to answer those questions. Okay. So currently we are not exploring fine tuning, but we will be looking at a few papers and we'll be summarizing them using ChatGPT. You can also use Perplexity, or you can use the other tools that I suggested. All right. So over here, I have already downloaded a few research papers, and I'm going to be adding them. I have downloaded three based on fine tuning and based on PEFT. Okay. So, So we were working with a llama model. So I'm just going to ask it that summarize these papers and tell me how I can implement these techniques without giving it any context about my project right now, because I just want to see how it does in summarizing the papers. Okay. All right, so we'll just look at the answer that it has given us. So first of all, it has summarized the papers. So the first paper is about LoRa, which is a technique in parameter efficient fine tuning. Okay, so these are just the jargons. If you like explore the papers and explore certain videos, you will come to know what it is. Then there is a paper on PFT, and there is just a normal fine tuning paper. So it has summarized those papers, it has given me the key observations, and then along with those techniques, it is giving me how I can use those techniques for my uh, training my llama model. It has also given me a code snippet. So this is how you can utilize papers that you get, and then you can use them to optimize your development process. Because if you were to just look for some tutorial, you may not know what technique is being used, what it means, and if it is the most efficient technique. So I can even ask it to compare different techniques. If I have a few number of techniques that I can use, I can ask it to compare different models if I have the data of the models being evaluated against each other. So this is how you can efficiently utilize research papers, and then using their data, you can come up with ways you can develop. So obviously, if you use GitHub Copilot and you put in this data into your VS Code, you put in the research papers, so it will be able to give you a more better output because it knows what your code base is, right? So you can do that, and you can get a better bot which will answer better. So that is how you can utilize research papers for your development. So this was just like a small example. You can do a lot of other things, and you can also utilize them for obviously if you're starting to develop something. So you can look at what is the technology that already exists, because if somebody is building something and it is of really good use case, they will publish a research paper based on that. So we did explore a lot of tools which helped us to view papers, which helped us to summarize papers. Okay, so this is essentially when you are on a time clutch and you don't have enough time to go through everything. But if you do have enough time, I would personally recommend that you try to read those papers. You look at the methodology, you look at the motivation, whatever is given, even though it can be very difficult, it can be daunting. But when you're on a time clutch, it's okay to go with these tools, and that is the best way. But when you do have time, I would suggest that you do read the papers, because it first of all it gives you credibility. If you cite research papers whenever you are making something, mentioning something, it gives you credibility as a developer, as a student. And secondly, it is a good practice, because as you go through your years, you will be required to maybe summarize papers on your own, or write your own papers if you're developing something. And in those cases, if you have the knowledge if from what you've read, so it will be great. Okay, so yeah, that was all from my side, and I thank you all for listening. If you have any queries, you can ask about any of the tools or about uh, research papers in general. Okay, so the feedback form for today has been uh, entered in the chat section, so you can fill it out before leaving the meet. And thank you all for staying till the end. I hope you understood and you learned something new today. And I hope you utilize these tools for whatever use cases you have.